Can I play with madness? Yes. Yes, I can. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. This one's sponsored by Bowtie Writer on Twitter, who wanted to see a Madness deck in action. And I'm really excited for this one. So Modern Horizons 2 brought another Rootwalla to the stack. This one is Blazing Rootwalla, which is a 1/1 that has Madness 0. And so if you discard this card, you can cast it for free. And it has a fire breathing effect on it, although you can only activate it once. So now, alongside the much older and classic vintage staple Basking Rootwalla, you have 8 of these effects. In addition to some things like Anji's Ravager and Vengevines, which, want you to cast a couple of things and then bring them back, we have an engine here where we are kind of looking to go all in very quickly and create a lot of power. Now, one of the things that is going to reward us for discarding a bunch of cards is Hollow One, which sees a lot of play in Vintage with Bazaar of Baghdad. Now, we don't get to quite those levels of broken here, but this can be pretty strong. We also have a few cards that play really well with Lion's Eye Diamond. In particular, Ox of Agonas is something that can be a draw 3 come the end game that will let us refuel after going a little bit all in early on. So the idea is we try to have some busted explosive start off maybe Putrid Imp, discarding a couple Vengevines, and then we cast some Rootwallas and just go to town and kill our opponent. And then things like Anji's Ravager and the Ox help us refuel. Looking at this deck list, I think the Anger is a little bit sus, if I'm being honest. It can allow us to do some insanely broken things with Hasty Hollow Ones and Ox of Agonases, but I'm not sure that this is actually worth the slot. There are other Madness cards that we aren't playing. I forget the name of it, but from Modern Horizons 2, there's one with Madness for 1 black that I think is a 2/2 flyer. That card seems pretty good to me, and I want to maybe explore it over Anger in the future. But this was a list that got 13th place in a challenge, I believe. And so I'm just going to start with this, and like maybe I'll be wrong about Anger. Like maybe we'll just get a turn 1 kill, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, this is fine. As far as the sideboard goes, there's essentially 3 categories. There's cards for combos, that's Mindbreak Trap and Fairy Macabre. There's cards for creatures, Lightning Axe and Firestorm. And then there's a couple of begrudging things that, begrudging, anyway. There's a couple of things we begrudgingly play so we can deal with some artifacts. Note, we're not really looking to deal with graveyard hate all that much, so if my opponent plays something like a Leyline, I will just cast creatures and try to kill them that way, rather than trying to answer the Leyline. So that's the game plan. Let's jump into some matches and see how this goes. If you want to see more sick Legacy Modern Vintage content in the future, please subscribe to my channel, and if you're already subscribed, please throw me a like before the video starts. It's the easiest way to support me for free. Let's battle. Okay, opening hand for round 1. It does not have a land, but it has a Once Upon a Time. If the Once Upon a Time finds a land, this hand is probably pretty hot. If it doesn't find a land, I am in bad shape mostly. That said, I think this hand is very powerful. I am going to go ahead and keep it. Five looks is a lot of cards. Here we go. Is this enough? Yes, it is enough. Okay, so I will grab Bloodstain Mire. All right, I think this is a Burning Inquiry turn. I think I play LED and go Burning Inquiry. It just has so much potential upside. All right, actually really hard to tell which one of these I should grab. It needs to be red producing, but they're all red producing. Let's grab green. And Burning Inquiry. I'll take this as an opportunity to mute Facebook chat. Double Basking Rootwalla. Don't mind if I do. Alright, so I cast this for free. And then I cast this for free. And I have discarded 3 of my opponent's lands. I don't think I need to go deeper this turn with cracking LED yet. I'll do that next turn. Alright, Delta from the opponent. Seems like we're playing against an Esper Control deck of some kind. So I guess technically this could also be a combo start. Could also be like Esper Doomsday. I think that's a reasonable guess as well. That's a shuffle. Okay. This is going to fetch a Badlands in all likelihood. I think I'll just lead on Faithless Looting here. It's an Ox. So let's discard the Ox and discard the Walla. Root Walla into play for free, because we're friends. Is it time to just go all in on, like, Faithless Looting stuff? I can crack LED for Faithless Looting. Then I have Ox mana, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Will be gone. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 2. So I can take 2 cards out of this, so I can go land, Putrid Imp, crack for red, cast Faithless Looting, discard lands. Oh, right. Now I don't have the red for the Ox this turn since I used it for Faithless Looting. That's okay. I'll get that next turn. We're obviously learning the deck here. Tried to double count my mana. Rookie move. Tundra. Baleful Strix. Sure. Through Putrid Imp. Exact text on you. Card your hand, then draw 3 cards. Yeah, that's fine. Don't need flying. Alright. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Ox resolves. How much do you cost currently? 3? No, you currently cost 3. So I can just discard an Ox here. Then you cost 1. And then I can just play you. Grab Taiga. Cast for 1 mana. And send in the troops. My opponent is playing Esper Doomsday. They would have to win. Probably next turn. Alright, 12. They could block Ox, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're in some danger. Actually, more than that, because I can activate both Root Walls. I think they're just dead next turn. Yeah, so it's this turn or bust if they're on Doomsday. But I've only seen, like, a Ponder and a Baleful Strix. So I don't have as much information as I otherwise might like. Marsh Flats. Scrubland. Oh, a Prismatic Ending. By Putrid Imp. That's fine. I think I just crash in with everything here. Trade these 2 away, activate both of these. It'll be 3, 6, 7 damage. Yeah, that's fine. Neither of these trample, right? And neither of these trample. Send them in. Yep. Let's fire breathe. Let's I don't know what we call this one, but I'm doing it. So that's 7 damage, which is lethal next turn. Not quite at enough cards to Ox again, but I'm pretty close. My opponent is playing Doomsday. Their piles are probably going to be really hard because after they cast Doomsday, they go to 2, and then they can't Street Wraith or do anything really that causes them to lose life. Okay, I mean, probably good news for me. Prismatic Ending makes me think they're not Doomsday, though. Like, that makes me think it's more of an actual control deck, but who knows? Probably not sideboarding, right? Like, probably not sideboarding until, like, I get confirmation that they are a combo deck. This is just a control deck. I don't want to sideboard. Game 1 plan is just totally fine. Alright, Brainstorm from the opponent. Alright, land. Fetching. Okay, what are you gonna do? Ethereal Forager. Okay. But I have 3 different lethal threats in play. Like, you can block one, Source of Plowshare is another. Okay, wait, hold on. They block Blazing, and they have Source to Plowshares. When I activate on Basking, they can remove and then not die. Right, how many cards do I have in graveyard? I have 2, 4, 5. I would put a 6th into the graveyard. Okay. I mean, tell me that you have it. Okay, so you block this one. I tried to pump here, which would be lethal, like Swords of Plowshares or Fatal Push. Sure. But then this kills Ethereal Forager, which all in all leaves me in a pretty good position, all things considered. Like, I still have a lethal threat on board. I have an Ox of Agonis in graveyard. Opponent's at 2. But we have confirmed they are on a control deck, and I'm probably not sideboarding against them. Okay. Fairy can bounce. That's fine. Like, that buys time, but that's actually better than it looks, right? Because that stops my madness timing for, like, discard-based stuff. Oh, that's slightly awkward for me. Oh, I think I just want to multi-spell here. So let's play out a couple of these, and they're both lethal next turn. Okay, if I wasn't F6'd, I could have gotten 2 more life there. Alright, Brainstorm from the opponent after just doing the obligatory Teferi uptick. Ponder. The shuffle, which is good news for me. Okay, I mean, I'm going to go for the throat here. My opponent shuffled off their Ponder. I'm not going to not attack. And I will pump, because otherwise it's not lethal. Oh, okay, so we've got it. Okay, good stuff. Is this any target? No, this is creatures only, so it can't hit planeswalkers. So there are Baleful Strix on the other side of the table that I need to think about, because those can just trade with some of my larger creatures. And I can't really get them out of the way without trading a body. Maybe that's fine. I can consider Firestorm or Lightning Axe to help out with some of those situations. I think I'm just supposed to run back the same 60. Like, Anger and Ancient Grudge are, I think, of approximately the same power level, where Ancient Grudge helps to solve one very specific problem, and Anger can give my stuff haste so that I can try to win from interesting spots. Okay. I can't quite Vengevine with this hand. I think I'm going to mulligan this one. This one's, like, close. This hand is a little all-in. So it goes Badlands, LED, Putrid Imp, pass, and then turn 2 double Anji's Ravager, or go all in on Anji's Ravager on turn 1. It's okay, but, like, my opponent has shown me multiple removal spells. Oh, my opponent has mulligan to 5? Yeah, then I'll keep this if my opponent is going that deep. It feels like my opponent's mulliganing to a Leyline, so I'm going to get rid of the Ox here. Alright, Delta. The Tundra into Ponder. Sure. Actually, another way to just play this turn is just Badlands, LED, and then play double Anji's Ravager. That's pretty stupid. I actually kind of like that. Burning Inquiry is also pretty interesting from this position. Like, Burning Inquiry can very much mess with what my opponent's doing. And I'm still very likely to get at least 1 Ravager. I think I just YOLO double Ravager, though. It's the cool thing. Let's do the cool thing. Right, double check. 2. 2. Red, red, red! I will cast. And I will cast. NBD. 2 Anji's Ravagers on turn 1. Although, like, now that I thought of this line, I think I threw back... What did I throw back? The Ox was maybe important. Ooh. Discarding Anger. Sick. Oh, you attack each turn, Babel. Can't even make the wrong decision. Alright, hit opponent for 3. Now, I could put a Basking Root Walla into play, but it doesn't really do anything. I'd rather go for it next turn and try to get some Vengevines, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a Lion's Eye Diamond into play and pass the turn. I kind of wish I had the Ox now. Alright, opponent gets to Brainstorm. Planes. Oh, Prismatic Ending on the LED was a reason to not play that out. But I was playing around discard. That's fine. Okay. So I crash in. Vengevine Dream this turn is dead. But... Well, actually, it looks like I'm going to bring them back. Just not get to attack with them this turn. So opponent goes to 13. And I'll go... Land... Blazing Root Walla, which does return the Vengevine. Yes. I'll pass the turn. A very respectable amount of power in play. Alright, opponent is fetching. But they don't have a follow-up. Flaring from that Brainstorm, I suppose. Plague Engineer on Root Walla is mighty rude. Bye. They'll be back. Well, different ones will be back in all likelihood, actually. Okay. I think I need to continue to be the aggro deck here. So I'll lose Anji's Ravager this turn to the Plague Engineer block, I think. Oh. See how this Burning Inquiry post-combat ends up going. My opponent's going to take 4, go to 8. I don't really want this land. The land gives me green. Well, actually, if I play the land, I can get a Taiga, which then allows me to Ox from graveyard 100% of the time. I will actually do that. Okay, well, unless the Ox remains in my hand, then that is not true. Alright, Burning Inquiry. Alright, the Ox did not remain in my hand. So I will cast it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Alright. Nice. Opponent discarded good cards, including Rest in Peace. Alright, so I Ox again. Current hand is not good, but, like, whatever. Faithless Looting will fix that. I also just have a lethal amount of power in play, and my opponent has literally random cards in their hand. Alright, slightly less random cards now. Alright, Delta. Swords to Plowshares on my Ox. My Ox is sad. Why are we doing that pre-brainstorm? That seems strange to me, but okay. Order? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I have the potential to draw them into another Swords to Plowshares, so it's possible I am supposed to just attack for 4, but because of, like, haste, totally fine to just play this. The question is, like, do I Faithless Looting first? I think I Faithless Looting first, because I would just play a lot of creatures this turn. Ooh, yeah, okay. So, I'll discard 2. That makes this cost 1. And it is hasty. Now, do I Burning Inquiry? I don't think I Burning Inquiry. I think I try to go for lethal. Like, my opponent has 1 card in hand. And I think if they had a removal spell, they would have done it already. Gotten the GGs. Okay, I made a handful of mistakes in this game while I was kind of getting used to things here, but this deck feels pretty powerful. Okay, round 2 opening hand is, like, so close to being broken on every axis, but, like, I'm not quite there. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one. Yeah, we'll do something with this hand. I don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll do something. I'm going to throw back the redundant Putrid Imp. As of right now, my plan is Burning Inquiry, but we'll see what I draw. Savannah. That's fair magic. I have a feeling my opponent will have a bad time. At least in game 1. Post sideboard games, we'll talk. An Ox. Okay. I want basic. Probably play basic against Savannah. So let's go land, LED, Burning Inquiry. Oh my god, Anji's Ravager and Blazing Rootwalla. Okay, so let's put those on the stack. I do think it's okay to go all in on Anji's Ravager. It sucks a little bit if my opponent has Swords to Plowshares. So good if they don't. It's so good if they don't. Let's do it. I've got the Ox for if this doesn't work out. Alright. And then we get the Blazing Rootwalla as well. I would like to Fire Breathe with my remaining mana. Alright. Do you have Swords to Plowshares for me? We got away with it. Note that if I was playing in a serious tournament there, I would not have gone all in on Anji's Ravager. But this is a league. I'm here to do the thing, right? And I did the thing. All right, Flagstones. So it kind of looks like our opponent is playing the, like, Elvish Reclaimer style deck. I can't do anything with this hollow one. So unfortunately, that is just going to get discarded. So I'll get to... Okay, so next turn is probably gross. Fire Breathe here. I need my Anji's Ravager to stay alive one more turn now, because I didn't hit a land. I also think I'm just, like, never going to... Excuse me. I think I'm never going to sideboard cards with this deck. Like... Well, actually, maybe Firestorm is fine here. Like, these cards have some amount of utility, but it feels like the game 1 game plan is just really strong here. Ooh, opponent takes some damage. Here's the new Yavimaya from Modern Horizons 2. Okay, please let me go to combat. Please let me do this Anji's Ravager trigger. It. Please. Please. Yes. This smells like Endurance, but I think Endurance eats Anji's Ravager, not Blazing Rootwalla, so I think I do attack with both. Do the discard thing. Okay. I can't do this Anji's Ravager Madness because I don't have another land. Alright. Do we get blown out by Endurance? It takes this Ox, too. Crop rotation. Crop rotation occurs. Could lose to double crop rotation. Alright, it's Thespian stage. Oh, shit. It is double crop rotation. So this gets Dark Depths, which will block Anji's Ravager. And then I don't have access to a flyer. Well, this is why my opponent drew two. I am dead to that, assuming they don't misclick. Yeah, I just have 0 outs of that. Okay. So you remember a second ago when I said the game 1 plan was fine? Apparently not. Famous last words. I think Firestorm and Lightning Axe are playable, but not great. I might just resubmit the game 1 deck. Lightning Axe does seem somewhat appealing as a way to take out a turn 1 Elvish Reclaimer. I think I'll do that. Alright. I am on the play. How do I feel about a Burning Inquiry hand? I mean, sure. This hand's not busted, but I get to Once Upon a Time to try to make it busted. So I cast that. Anji's Ravager or land? I think I grab a land, because an Anji's Ravager doesn't really do me much good right now. Grab a land. So let's go land. Bloodstain Mire. Fetch. I go a basic? I don't really want to get wastelanded here. Burning Inquiry. Cards kind of ended up in zones where I didn't really want them to. That's unfortunate. Like, we wanted to discard the Rootwalla, we wanted to keep the Burning Inquiry in the Once Upon a Time, and we wanted to discard the Anger. Okay, my hand is now weak. Okay, my opponent led on a Reclaimer, so I can Lightning Axe that. Let's start with Faithless Looting, though. I might be able to just do something broken of my own. Yuck. Alright, so discard Anger Rootwalla. Pass Rootwalla. Now, yeah, I guess this has haste. I can attack in safely for 1 point of damage. Because if my opponent blocks, I just Fire Breathe. Alright, didn't miss the free one. Now, I'll fetch. This can be a Badlands. I will cast, target this, a red, just discard a land. Now we're not just going to get, like, immediately Bojuka Bogged, or my opponent can't tutor immediately. I do think the deck they're playing is quite good. I played it recently. That will be live on YouTube already. Probably has been out for a week. A little hard to keep track of, like, when I record videos versus when you see them. So if you see me talk about something and you've sent some weird wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff happening, that's why. Fuck. Remember what I said about not getting Bojuka Bogged? It was wrong. Wrong. Anji's Ravager is a great card to draw. I'm very, very happy with that draw. I'll crash in for 1 damage. Then I'll get a little cheeky with you, huh? You ready for it? So we'll fetch. And I'll just grab a Taiga. And I can play Putrid Imp. And then at instant speed, I can make an Anji's Ravager off of Madness without telegraphing that it's coming. Although I guess if my opponent's savvy, they'll already have figured out that it's coming. My opponent took a suspicious pause at the end step. I kind of think they have Swords to Plowshares, and might have sniffed out my Anji's Ravager. We'll see. Oop. That's a Sylvan Library. Sure. So in the end step now, I will discard a card. And I will cast this. Instant Speed Shenanigans. Play this land. And then I'll crash in. I will presumably be Fire Breathing with Blazing Rootwalla, but I will need to see what I draw. Tricky. Like, do I just want to play the Vengevine this turn? I kind of just want to play the Vengevine next turn. I'm gonna go ahead and just fire. I'm gonna go ahead and just fire breathe here because I can play the Vengevine and then not telegraph its damage. All right, opponent's at 10. I take a land out of my deck first. I only have 2 more duels remaining. Grab Taiga. Going to Faithless Looting. Oh, wow. Okay, so I think I just Faithless Looting and bin double Vengevine here. And then I think I just Once Upon a Time for a creature that I can cast next turn to return both of them. Yes, I will take a Blazing Rootwalla. Alright, good stuff. I have very, very much lethal damage next turn. Let's always yield to the Sylvan Library. Okay, well, there is a Dark Depths. But I'm going to presume that I kill my opponent this turn. Okay, so let's go start a card, and then I get to do this for free rather than paying the 1 red mana. Cast with the Madness. Now, yes, I play this land. I have 3 mana for Faithless Looting if I want to do that, but I think I just discard this and leave up Fire Breathing mana. Oh, no, no, no. Discard this. There's Madness. Triggers 2 Vengevines. Yes, I will use this ability. Yes, I will use this ability. Now, I think I leave this back. Oh no, I don't leave it back because it's not going to be able to block because I'm going to take a shit ton of cards out of my graveyard. Or sorry, I'm going to add 3 cards into my graveyard, which is 7 cards, so it will have Threshold anyway. So I guess I am just crashing in and hoping this kills my opponent. Okay, it did. The exact count of my graveyard was a little bit awkward there. Okay, what's this hand do? It goes Bloodstained Mire, Fetch, LED, Burning Inquiry. We'll have access to an Ox at some point. This hand is good enough to keep. Savannah from the opponent into Flamer. I may just Lightning Axe that on 1. I think I will Lightning Axe that on 1 off of basic. So the question is, what am I discarding? Like, the Rootwalla is value, but it makes it harder to trigger a Vengevine next turn. I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this here. The next question is whether or not I play out LED. I think I do. Actually, maybe I don't. Yeah, I won't. Like, not doing it plays around prismatic ending type effects. Thalia type effects that reward me for playing it. Dryad Arbor. Okay. Well, I do not want to discard this card, so I will play this. If I discard Taiga, I don't think that's the end of the world. Let's go ahead and do this. See where we end up. Ooh, we hit Endurance. Nice. Okay. Can I cast 2 creatures and also Vengevine? Can't cast this Putrid Imp. Can I just Ox? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can Ox and leave Vengevine in graveyard. That seems acceptable. So crack this for red. Ox. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Here it comes. It's my 5/3. Oh, and then I get to... Okay, this is sick. Now I get to just cast Hollow One for free, which returns Vengevine. Yes, yes, I will use that ability. Now, I still have a... Oh, I see. This is still on the stack, so I've hit this once. Now, I can activate this and increase my power. All in all, okay turn. That was a vintage turn. That was absolutely a vintage turn. Okay, my opponent has a Swords to Plowshares to save them 4 life this turn, but there is still a lot of power in play. They need to combo off ASAP. So I have 5, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 damage showing for next turn. Okay. Oh, that's disgusting. That is just absolutely gross. Alright. So I will fetch. I'll grab a Badlands. I will Lightning Axe. So how much is this? Oh, 1 billion. Okay. Lightning Axe. Target Knight of the Reliquary. Discard Wooded Foothills. And then we can pump my Lizard. And crash in. I think this is the stage where my opponent is dead, even if they can make a Merit Lodge. Okay, that's a new Knight of the Reliquary. Alright, so crash in with everything. Either one of these is lethal, so both have to be blocked, assuming no crop rotation shenanigans. So that's fine with me. I will swing in with everything. I kind of think there are crop rotation shenanigans, but that's just a feeling. I have no proof. Alright, I pump the Basking Root Walla and put my opponent to 1. Alright, no shenanigans. Now fetches are off for my opponent. And the Basking Root Walla is lethal without even being pumped. Alright. GG, opponent. This deck is cool. So we are 2-0. Okay, round 3. Land Putrid Imp. Discard Vengevine. Discard Blazing Root Walla. Return Vengevine. Discard Anji's Ravager. Yeah, okay, like this hand is going to be a keep. This hand is going to produce a just absolutely disgusting amount of power on turn 1. Alright. Arid Mesa, fetch. Badlands. Putrid Imp. Putrid Imp. Discards Vengevine. Putrid Imp. Discards Blazing Root Walla. Blazing Root Waller's madness lets me cast it for free, which returns the Vengevine. I will use the ability. Get that into play. I have flying. I've discarded 2 cards now, right? Just confirming. Yep, I have discarded 2 cards. So I will just discard Anji's Ravager so that I can cast the hollow ones for free. Cast. Cast. Now, if you'll excuse me for just a second here, I'm gonna need a little screenshot of that for Twitter clout later. That's very important, of course, as you know. Okay, now that that's taken care of, attack. All right, Once Upon a Time from the opponent. If they didn't just concede to this much power, it makes me think they're Elves. Actually, I don't think Elves can win from here. They have 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage next turn. Glacial Chasm. Expedition map. Sure. Alright. Land. Fire breathing. Battle. Literal turn to kill. Damn. This is what I'm here for. Okay, so we are playing against either lands or Cloudpost. If it's lands, Fairy is worth considering. Cloudpost, obviously not. The Expedition map, like, puts me very heavily into the realm of this is Cloudpost, but, like, Urza Saga is a thing. I think we're gonna hit submit. And we're just gonna try to run back the same plan of murder the opponent. And if I'm being honest, that's gonna be my plan every round. It seems to be working thus far. So this hand can produce a turn 1 attacking Vengevine, as well as 2 Root Wallas in play. I think I'm gonna keep this. Like, it's an all-in hand, but, like, whatever. Like, 6 power on turn 1. The shit Delver dreams of. Ooh. Did I say 6? I may have misspoken. Yes, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit more than 6 power. What land do I want in play? Like, do I want a duel? I think I just want basic mountain for Blazing Root Walla. Alright. Land. Root Walla. LED. Crack for, let's make it red. The Vengevines go to the bin. I cast a Lizard Familiar, which will return my Vengevines. I will use Vengevine's ability. Yes, I know. I don't need that mana. Attack! Hello and good luck, opponent. Alright, Forest. Oh, my opponent has a play. Crop rotation is very good. Crop rotation means Elvish Reclaimer can survive Root Walla attacks. Tabernacle. Ooh. Ooh. Alright. Guess that's fair. I'll prevent one of these. Then my delicious lizards. Unfortunately, we're not long for this world. Alright, that hollow one is just gonna hang out in my hand for a few turns. I'll send in Vengevine. Ooh. Honestly, like, as long as I can get to the point where I can return Vengevine and, like, just do the final points of damage to my opponent, the Tabernacle doesn't matter too much. Like, when the time is right, I can also just sacrifice my current Vengevine that I have in play, as long as I can play around Bojuka Bog. Until opponent gets a Yavimaya, they're actually pretty damn tight on mana. Yes, I will prevent the death of my plant. Elemental plant? Nope, just elemental. Well, if we can put that into the graveyard, that's good. Alright, send in the Vengevine. My opponent thought for a long time, but I don't know what they would be thinking about unless they have spirit guides, so I'm leaning towards they just stepped away from their computer for a minute. Alright, opponent is down to 3. Elvish Reclaimer gets into chump block territory next turn. Ooh. Opponent is getting Yavimaya so that they can pay for their Reclaimer using Tabernacle. There is a Vengevine on board. What is the plan for that? Okay. Alright. So this can now trade with my Vengevine, since there's enough lands in the graveyard. Yes, I will prevent this. I am happy to attack in and trade for this body. The Vengevines in the graveyard will become good at some point. Like, this force trade is pretty good for me. It's not great, because like my opponent does have, in theory, the second combo piece available to them. But without some acceleration, like say an Ancient Tomb or a Spirit Guide, they can't combo off this turn because it's 2, well, at least not off of the Expedition map, because it's 2 to activate the map, and then 2 to activate Thespian Stage in addition to tapping itself. The Blazing Root Walla here isn't exactly great, because if they just fetch Dark Depths, play it, pass, and I play Blazing Root Walla, that's not lethal next turn. So if I miss on a draw, I might just hold the Blazing Root Walla in hopes of playing 2 things in the same turn. Okay, a Once Upon a Time. It found a 3rd Reclaimer. Yeah, I think I am on the, like, Vengevine is how I win plan currently. But it really needs to be this turn cycle, because otherwise Elvish Reclaimer holds up. Bojuka Bog. Burning Inquiry would be the perfect draw. This can get there. Try it. Need to draw another Root Walla. LED do anything? Oh, man. LED does not do anything here. I don't have a... Oh, I do have a Faithless Looting. It's on the stack currently. Am I just going all in this turn? Sure seems like I'm going all in this turn. Alright, so let's discard Vengevine, Blazing Root Walla. Oh, wait. I have the hollow one. I just discarded 2 cards. This is fine. Alright, so this, don't even need to fetch. Just cast you off of this, which returns triple Vengevine, which should be a kill unless my opponent has Endurance or Surgical. Okay. I mean, I respect countering my hollow one. GG's, well played. GG's. It was just like very, very tight game. And there is the concession. We are up to 3-0 on my first time playing this deck. This one broken? One might be broken. My round 4 opening hand is really close to working, but I need 2 things to bring back the Vengevine, and I don't have a ton to do with the LED mana right now. I think I'm gonna mulligan this hand. This hand will work out somehow. I'm gonna keep this and pitch 1 looting. Opponent has gone to 5 cards. Alright, we'll see what my opponent does with their 5-card hand. No covered island in Ponder. Sure. No shuffle. Assuming that my opponent is a combo deck, I think I'm just going to cast Burning Inquiry and mess with them as much as possible. Let's see where this goes. I didn't want to discard the Anji's Ravager. That's okay. I'll just be passing the turn here. My hand just casts 2 Root Wallas next turn. It's super awkward. Oh god, we hit Show and Tell and Omniscience off the Burning Inquiry, though. It's probably fine if I'm a little bit clunky. Once I get to 3 mana, I can play Anji's Ravager and then just like cycle through some stuff. Anger will turn on my creatures from being hasty. Alright, now a Ponder from my opponent. Faithless Looting. That's very good. Let's cast that to start this turn off. Okay. I think I'll just take my freebies here. It means that I can't Vengevine this turn. But you know, you gotta pressure the combo deck somehow. Go Gadget Lizards. And with any luck, they will be Hasty Lizards. This will be Taiga. Burning Inquiry. Okay. Discarded Anji's Ravager and held the Anger in my hand. That's fine. That's just my turn. We hit another Show and Tell. Burning Inquiry confirmed good combo hate. Alright, opponent's got a Misty now. A Vengevine. Timing for you is a little awkward. I think this turn is just attack and pressure my opponent. So I can go attack, Fire Breathe, my opponent for 4, then play Basking Rootwalla. Okay, that's the plan. Send him. Fire Breathe. There's 4. Opponent's at 16, and I get a Lizard. Right, opponent end of turn fetching to clear their Brainstorm. And they peek. Sure. Not exactly a legacy staple. Now, there are only 2 Show and Tells remaining in my opponent's deck. That means that they cannot Intuition for Show and Tell anymore. Yet. Okay. Vengevine versus Anji's Ravager. If I Vengevine and I draw a land, I have 4, 7, and 11. Might need to put in Anji's Ravager and then hope that I can return the Vengevines. Let's go for that. Okay. So this is attack in with everyone. And then hope to produce enough permanence that I can kill my opponent on the backswing in the next turn. Because like the Anji's Ravager has to attack no matter what, so it just makes sense to go in with everything. Because the Anji's Ravager is the thing you block here. Alright, how does this trigger look? Bad. I did not find creatures. I needed creatures to return Vengevine. Okay. So, how do I win? I have to do something broken in order to win. I think that means I'm casting Once Upon a Time and trying to return Vengevines next turn. I think that's my plan. This is not good. And we deal with the Annihilator 6. God, I want that LED. Alright. If I take Putrid Imp, I can draw a creature with Madness, discard Anger, discard the creature with Madness. Putrid Imp is 2. Vengevines make it 10. Creature with Madness makes it 11. Opponent fetches. That works. Kind of a long shot. And I can't do a second creature this turn. Yep, okay. That's turn. I get 15'd here. And lose my board. Bye, sweet world. The lizard world was a good world. Man, if I could cast one more creature, I would have so much power. So much power. Just short there. Okay. It seems like I'm probably not sideboarding. Like I could Mindbreak Trap for like, you know, the Petal, Show and Tell, Omniscience based lines, but I think my plan is just kill my opponent. No need to get cute here. All right, lizards, let's go. So surely I keep this hand, right? I get to once upon a time find a land, do something. LED, Ravager. Like one way or another. This hand does shit. We're going places. I think my sequencing is once upon a time first, obviously, then LED, then we'll go from there. Here we go. Do I want the Putrid Imp to have some control over future draws, or do I just want to play Burning Inquiry? Because it's Burning Inquiry and fucks with my opponent. I think I'll take this. Land. I think I'm going to Burning Inquiry. Batch. Badlands. LED. Burning Inquiry. Which hits a Force of Will. Pitching Omniscience. And now I get to decide if I want to go all in on the turn 1 Anji's Ravager. Honestly, it feels correct. Because it's hasty because of anger. Let's go. Cast. Oh, that's so strong. Hello, I would like to attack with my Ancestral Vision creature. Okay, thanks. Alright, opponent is at 16, and I have refueled. I can produce another Anji's Ravager next turn. Yeah, Graftear's Cage is not doing a lot right now. Okay, how do I want to play this turn? I kind of just want to play Blazing Rootwalla, Fire Breathe it, and then crash in for 6 damage and just get my opponent dead as quickly as possible. It's a little mana inefficient, but I think I like it. Alright, battle. Attack with both. Do the Anji's Ravager sexy thing. No, I will not cast that. Oh, I have to click no, I see. Then Fire Breathe is, I believe, better than Faithless Looting. Just hitting my opponent every turn is not to be undervalued. Okay, so now we start to get into a real territory of like, how many of these Faithless Lootings do I cast? Especially given the Grafdigger's Cage and the existence of some cards like Icefang Coatl. I think at least one is fine. Do I hold you? No, I don't hold you. Alright, discard 1. Discard 2. I go ahead and fetch another land out of my library. Aiga. We'll cast one more Faithless Looting. Yeah, that's good. We'll discard those. I will cast Hollow One, which I would like to remind the viewers has haste. Echoing Truth on Anji's Ravager. Sure. That's fine. You're still taking 7. Do my Fire Breathing. Get him. Get him, Lizard. And now opponent needs to show intel and omniscience. Because I have multiple lethal threats. I have 3 different lethal threats, yeah. Okay, let's do that one more time. This hand feels a little slow to me. Like, I can play a 1-drop of some kind and then, like, not really do anything on turn 1. I'd like to produce power on turn 1 if possible, or a lot of power on turn 2. Yeah. Yeah, we can make this hand work. So it's Future Damp, discard, discard, discard. This hand is good. I think I get rid of my second land over Anji's Ravager, but it's very close. The second land is valuable if Putrid Imp that's countered. Actually, if Putrid Imp doesn't get countered, I probably just have enough power in play to win, so I should keep the thing that's better if Putrid Imp does get countered. Alright, Scalding Tarn, fetch, play cantrip of choice, Preordain. And that's top, which is admittedly scary. Alright, land, Putrid Imp resolves, discard Vengevine, discard Rootwalla, and now the Madness trigger happens, and we cast it, and then the Vengevine trigger happens, and he comes back to say hello, and then we have a Rootwalla, and then I will also just put this into play. Oop. Yes, I cast this with Madness, and send in the troops, which this turn is just Vengevine. Next turn we get to attack with 3 creatures. Alright, Brainstorm from the opponent. How much damage are they facing down next turn? 4, 7, 8, 9. So not lethal next turn. Close. Close enough that just flooping an Emrakul in play probably isn't good enough. They're probably going to need Omniscience. Alright, Misty. So that can clear the Brainstorm. Ox. Ox is not really good right now. So I'll just play a land and battle. And then I'll Fire Breathe. Opponent's at 6. 5. Yeah, so that is very easily lethal through one blocker. Alright, you can peek. You can see my Ox. You show and tell it's coming into play. Alright. Oh, that sequencing seems very bad. Now you can't soul land and you can't soul land show and tell off doing that sequencing. Alright. Send them. Alright, what do you got? Moment's Peace would be sick. Ice Fang Coatl, sure. Still have lethal through that. Like, you block Vengevine, and I just pump my critters. Alright, so that's fire breathing here. Yep. GG's. Well, we are up to 4-0. Let's see if we can pick up a trophy. Okay, I am on the play. This hand doesn't really do anything and is pretty far away from doing something. I'm in a mulligan. This hand also doesn't do anything, unfortunately. I don't even have green mana for the Basking Root Walla. This one's going back. How about this one? Oh god, no black mana. It can produce an Anji's Ravager on turn 1. Maybe a Vengevine if I'm lucky. I probably keep this on 5. So, like, keep, pitch, Putrid Imp, and second land. That seems correct to me. Alright. Mountain. LED. Faithless Looting. Oh my god. So I will discard the Vengevine and the Anji's Ravager here. Then I will sack this for triple red, which does the whole madness thing. I will cast Lizard 1. I will cast Lizard 2. I will get back my... We confirmed this wasn't a plant, right? I will get back my Elemental, get my Lizard, and then get Anji's Ravager. Sick! And then we'll send in for 4 damage, putting my opponent to 16. And I have a draw 3 lined up, in addition to my 9 power in play on turn 1. Alright, my opponent thought for a long time and then played Savannah. Into Allosaurus Shepherd. Okay, so they're going to attempt to do some glimpse-based shenanigans on turn 2. And I will turn these creatures sideways and see if my opponent dies. How does that sound? Sounds good. So this hits my opponent down to 7. And then I can play a land. And that's all I can do this turn, unfortunately. Alright, Gaia's Cradle. Well, Gaia's Cradle is a recipe for something broken, but not like that. I think my opponent's in a multiple chump block situation in order to stay alive. I can't do any of this stuff pre-combat, so they are all getting discarded, unfortunately. Send them in. Yanji's Ravager trigger. Doesn't do anything interesting this turn. My opponent blocks 1, blocks 2. This means that I can either keep this Basking Root Walla alive, or I can hit them down to 6. I think I'll just keep this creature alive and just make it harder to die. Or, sorry, like, keep an optimal amount of power on board in this turn cycle. So my opponent goes to 3. This means that they can still fetch, but with no board and Gaia's Cradle as one of their lands, it should be very hard for them to, like, even pose a defense that keeps them alive. We'll see. Like, Gaia's Cradle does some broken stuff with Glimpse turns, so... Yep, okay. So, they only get 1 more mana, though, so they would have to find Birchlore Ranger, and then... yeah, like, where do they go from there? Okay, Aquarian Ranger... Actually, that doesn't actually net any mana. Yep. Okay, good stuff. GG. Okay, I will probably board in these 5 cards, just interact with my opponent some amount. I think my Angers can probably go out. Actually, do I want Lightning Axe? Or is it just Firestorm that's good enough? On the draw lightning axe seems fine. I'm bringing in a bunch more ways to discard and probably go down on some putrid imps and try to stay a little bit closer to just a green black deck here. Also, Firestorm is an instant. I'm just throwing that out there. I can get some really weird lines that ambush my opponent. Oh, okay. So on turn 1, I can go land Firestorm for X equals 2, deal 2 to my opponent, discard 2, Basking Root Wallas, and Hollow 1. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. I might end up doing some damage to myself with Firestorm. Okay, there's a Leyline in play. I don't think I care. At least not with how this hand looks. Okay. I think I just pass. Well, I could just... So it feels like my opponent's going to get a Dryad Arbor. Yeah, I think I'm going to maybe let my opponent do some cool things if they happen to have exactly Glimpse of Nature. And if they don't exactly have Glimpse of Nature, I think I will Wrath of God them and then play a Hollow 1. I'm gonna let this happen. There is some degree of risk associated with this if my opponent has Glimpse of Nature. All right, Forest from the opponent. The Elvish Visionary. That's fine. So I think I'm going to remove all that stuff on my turn, because then the Hollow 1 will be cheaper to cast. Okay, yeah. So let's go land, Firestorm, 2 targets. Do I want to discard a land for 3 damage? Yes. Pay red. Go 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, hold on. I think I did that wrong. Okay. X targets. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pay red. Discard 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Done. And I do my madness thing. And I do my madness thing. And then I cast... I guess Faithless Looting is solid because Hollow 1 is already free. Nice. Bonus Lizard. I'll madness this too. And then I'll cast this. Sorry, opponent. Nice graveyard hate. So I have 4, 7, 10, 11 damage next turn. Assuming nothing changes. What is this? Tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Sure. Okay. Meekstone also isn't quite what you're looking for. Like, my Hollow 1 won't untap, but these lizards will. That's fine. I'm gonna fetch. Grab Taiga. Send in the troops. Battle. Pump you. Up to a 3/3. Fire Breathe you. Up to a 3/1. And opponent goes to 5. Now they're probably not dead next turn. Alright, opponent is glimpsing. Let's see what they can do. It's crazy that I've largely ignored 2, like, relatively targeted hate cards here. Alright, Birchlore, untapped. And then Wirewood. Okay. This will be a pretty good turn for my opponent then. They can tap Gaia's Cradle for 4, then bounce some of their elves, recycle some of these abilities. Oh, 4 mana. Green Sun for X equals 1. Another Wirewood. They're just going to try to keep the chain going for as long as they can. Loop a creature back to hand, put the creature back down. That means Birchlore mana can tap both of those mana. And there's Quarian Ranger and Nettle Sentinel. It's going to be hard to push these last couple of points of damage through this many critters and like this many Wirewood symbiote activations. We'll see. It's very possible Vengevine can sneak the last couple of points of damage. Quarian Ranger comes back, which untaps Nettle Sentinel. This is starting to get to the point where the Glimpse Chain is scary because Nettle Sentinel plus any elf just means that you can just continue the chain, and the Jespara Sentinel can turn the Wirewood symbiotes into mana as well. Okay, and we are seeing that exact interaction here. Alright, some untapping. Lots of untapping. Okay, that's just literally undoing though. Misty Rainforest. Maybe they're starting to think about like how many bodies they need to leave back in order to not die to a haste creature or something. All right, Misty is fetching. Now what are we seeing? 3? Not 3? Oh, 4. Okay. So we're just gonna see a natural order. All right, that is indeed happening. So I don't think this kills me. But I don't think it has to. So that's a 12/12 Crater Hoof. I am not keeping track of which things have been activated and which things haven't. I'm just kind of chilling back here. I die. Okay. So in comes the Crater Hoof. I take 12. And I'm going down to 7. Okay, Ox is not doing me any good. So my opponent can untap multiple creatures. And, well, okay, so this Crater Hoof doesn't actually untap because of the Meek Stone. Am I supposed to hold back? What has the better chance of me winning the game? My opponent, like, messing up math on my fire breathing, or me holding back? My opponent's attacks are good, though, because they just attack in and then, like, Wire would bounce the things that are blocked, replay them, then they have blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna pass the turn and hope to represent a trick that scares my opponent. I don't think doing the like all-in attack and trading 2 of my bodies away and leaving me with one thing is good when my opponent has this many critters left. I showed them a Firestorm already, so like they know the existence of those sorts of cards is there. Alright, Forest? Oh, right, untap the Crater Hoof. Yep. Okay, I guess I should have just gone for an attack and hope they mess up, but like that could have untapped that on my turn, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna lose this game. But it is very, very notable that like this stuff was ignored, and it was just like a glimpse into natural order that killed me. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I'll concede here. I think I'm gonna keep everything as is. I don't think I want to Ancient Grudge for Meekstone or anything like that. Um, Anger has some merits just to, you know, increase some of the nuttiest nut draws, but I'm pretty happy with keeping the 2 Putrid Imps as enablers. Alright, I would like to play first. I will be keeping this hand. It has Burning Inquiry into Hollow 1 on turn 1, which can also just mess with my opponent's hand. I also have Once Upon a Time to try to find more Madness cards, so that some of the worst case scenarios can't happen. Opponent has taken a first mulligan. Okay, no Leyline to deal with. That's Once Upon a Time. On turn 1, I think I would rather have Blazing Root Wallet in case it gets discarded this turn. Despite the fact that I would rather have Anji's Ravager on any turn other than this turn. Alright, so let's go land, you, and Burning Inquiry. We just don't want to discard the Hollow one here. Okay, I did not discard the Hollow one. I took a glimpse out of my opponent's hand as well. I will cast this, and I will cast this. I have Lightning Axe, discarding Vengevine for whatever my opponent's first play is. Alright, Verdant Catacombs, fetch, Forest, do some Duder, Allosaurus Shepherd. I will murder it with fire. I will Faithless Looting first, though, I think. Looting. Ooh. I just cast Hollow one? No. Okay, so I go discard Vengevine, and I guess Ravager. Sorry, Ravager, I am not casting you this turn. And I'll fetch. I'll grab Badlands here. And I will Lightning Axe, casting by discarding a card. I will discard my land, blow that up, then I cast the Hollow one for free. I throw an Anger in the graveyard at any point. I did not. So I only get to hit my opponent for 5 this turn. Then next turn I have an Ox. I want this trophy. I have had so many 4-1s recently. Want one for the scoreboard. Alright, there's a land from the opponent. Don't mind the fetch lands. It just everything that hurts my opponent here is just upside for me. Riot Arbor main phase. Okay. Alright, so I go Ox here. 1, 2, exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That leaves a Vengevine in the graveyard. I'll say that now. Alright, so I discard my hand. No, I can't discard this stuff to return the Vengevines this turn, but I can do it next turn. That's fine. That's where I'm at. Hit for 7. Opponent goes to 4. Alright. Can you glimpse and get me this turn? I think I will win the War of Attrition. Like, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lethal attackers next turn. Or if I draw Anger. Elvish Visionary is not Glimpse. Opponent can still draw Gaia's Cradle and do something broken. Okay, that is the Gaia's Cradle. That's what they would need. Alright, Quarian Ranger. That's a lot of mana. So that's 3 mana plus a Dryad Arbor on tap. Alright, opponent was in the tank for a long time, and then they untap Dryad Arbor by bouncing a forest. Okay, up to 5 mana. Unnatural Order. Getting a Wirewood, interesting. Alright, so that bounces Visionary. Replay Visionary. Don't know what they're playing towards. New Wirewood. Okay, an untap. Heritage Druid. Okay, yep. We're gonna have it here with Vengevines unless my opponent has Endurance. Alright, Future Dimp. Activate, discard, Rootwalla. Cast with Madness. There's the Vengevine triggers. Okay. And that is the 5-0. Okay, this deck is really good. It took a couple rounds for me to get into the swing of things, but this deck is powerful. It's a little glass cannony in that, like, sometimes you do a thing and the thing kills your opponent, and then sometimes you do the thing and, you know, something goes wrong and you lose catastrophically. But this deck's good. This deck should be on your radar if you're playing Legacy. I don't necessarily think it's a top tier strategy. And, you know, we're probably a tier below that, but this is really powerful, and I can totally see why this did well in the challenge. I have mixed thoughts on Anger after playing in this league. Like, sometimes it's really good, and sending in those hollow ones or Oxen for hasty damage, especially when the game goes a little long and your, like, first wave of attacks don't go well, like, that definitely has some value. But at the same time, like, there's other Madness cards that I could be playing that I'm not. I do like that the deck is predominantly red-green as of right now. Like, the mana is really stable, and if you start getting into the black cards with Madness, you will stretch the mana a little bit thinner, and then you might not be able to get away with more than one mountain, for example. As far as the sideboard goes, it didn't really sideboard. Like, I didn't use fairies, I didn't use Mindbreak Traps, we didn't run into the sort of matchups where I would have used them. Doesn't mean the sideboard is bad, it's just something to be aware of. But overall, I really like this deck list, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you want to come for more Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content in the not-too-distant future. I need to go post some screenshots to Twitter because this deck was disgusting.